Rashika, thank you for the informative session. Guys, we'll open it up for Q&A right now. So if you have any questions, if you want, you can write it on the chat window, or you can just unmute yourself, and Rashika and myself will try to answer them.
I have a question. My name is Akshay, and Rashika, could you give me an example of economic analysis being used to pick up stocks? Like, what kind of economic analysis do you do to pick up stocks?
So for economic analysis, for example, this corona cases, because of this COVID-19 cases, the pharma industry. Earlier, what we used to do, like pharma companies used to do, they, need, they used to import all the active ingredients from other companies. They used to import all the active ingredients for which is helpful to produce the drugs like drug or the medicine. They used to import it, but due to this corona cases, due to this COVID-19 problem, China has stopped exporting the API, which creates a problem for our domestic industries for active ingredients. So we need to check all these economic activities which is impacting our business. And other thing is, suddenly if you are working on a this limestone business, or working in any state like Pradesh and anywhere you're working for a limestone, and suddenly the guideline comes and that from tomorrow you cannot do the business of limestone. It's illegal or it is not good for the people living over there. So these are the economic case these are the economic cases which you need to check for the business. Or Aditya can add.
Yeah, thank you, Rashika. So adding to her points, Akshay, so economic analysis can be used to analyze various economies. For example, if we take the example of US and India, so we know that US is more of a matured economy, and the spending power over there is much more matured than what India is. So in the same way, if we analyze one industry over there, let's say telecom, so we know that US has a very deep penetration in the telecom sector, but going back 4 years, we knew that India's internet penetration was very low, very low. For that time, it would have been a good time to invest in the Indian economy, specifically in the telecom sector. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and I have one more question. So, like in peer analysis, how do you select companies?
So, like what just Rashika told us, right? So, for example, if we look at the case of Vinati Organics, we can see that the stock price has run up a lot, and the company has performed really well. We can see that it has repaid its debt and it has built up on its reserves. So let's say that we go back 5 or 10 years back in time, and we see that Vinci Organics is going on a capex, and we also see its peer companies. So that time, let's say that Vinci Organics debt to equity was 0.5, while of its peers was, let's say, much more than that, 1 time or 2 times or 3 times. So this is how you do peer analysis. You need to check how the company ticks off on operational metrics, and also look at its financials. So what you have to do is just pick the best out of the pack. Rashika, you want to add something?
Yeah, adding on that, for peer analysis, what you can do, it's like apple to apple comparison or to apple to orange. Like some of the, because one company and you and me cannot do the same business. Like you are producing the chemical use for paints, and I am also producing the chemical for paints, or I'm diversified my business. I'm producing for some other things, some other business also like pharma sector. So for that, you need to take a company which is closely related to your business for comparing.
Thank you, thank you. That was a very good informative session. Thank you, Rashika.
Good morning, Rashika. Good morning, Aditya and Manish here. So I have one question. Sometimes we see that the book value of the stock is say much higher than the market value. So is it a misrepresentation, or how we should look at it? suppose the value of the current market price is 1,000 rupees, but the book value itself is 2,000 rupees. So the stock is good or bad? How we should analyze it?
Okay, Manish, that's a very nice question. So let me just break down book value for everyone present here. So book value basically represents uh, the per share value of the assets the company has. Okay, so it includes equity and your reserves and surplus. Okay, so like you said, Manish, there are some stocks which are trading 0.5x price to book value. So I'll tell you about one stock. It is a banking stock and it trades at 0.4 or 0.3 times its price to book value. So over here, what you need to check is that book value is a historical figure, okay? And book value can get affected by a lot of factors. For example, if we have a bank and let's say it has a book value of 100 rupees per share and it trades at 50 rupees. But what may happen is that it may trade at a very less price to book valuation because people on the other side are expecting that that equity and reserves surplus value may get deteriorated, may get vanished. Now we saw in the case of Yes Bank that a lot of his equity value got eroded because they had to provision for a lot of bad loans. And now coming to other sectors as well, you may see it in utilities, you may see it in power sector. But again, what happens over here is that people may go for greenfield expansion. They may not buy assets at the historical value. Depreciation is a lot. So inherently, in some sectors, you may see companies trading at a multiple of less than one price to book value, and you may see even companies which trade 20 times, 10 times price to book value. We have seen some banks which trade at 4 or 5 times price to book value. So necessarily, a company which trades less than 1x price to book value is not necessarily nice. So you have to see it in conjunction with the sector, with the company's workings, what the future holds for them, and that is what will give you the whole picture.
Okay, thanks. I have two more questions. Can I ask?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So one is, okay, you were talking about say fundamental analysis. So can you throw some light on that intrinsic value calculation of a stock?
Okay, sure. So let's say we have a company. Okay, it has a balance sheet size of 100 rupees, which means they have a 100 rupees on the asset side, 100 rupees on the liability side, and do note that liabilities also include equity. Okay, shareholder. So I'm going to assume that this is a very lean balance sheet company which has 80 rupees of equity and reserves and surplus and just 20 rupees as its debt as its debt. So we naturally know that its debt to equity is very less, it's 0.25x. Okay. Now, can you just repeat the question once more? Sorry.
Lina, say for example, in
Yeah.
value calculation, if we Google
Okay.
intrinsic value, so there is a lot of material which is there. I have also gone through a book, the autobiography for stock, but I was not honestly very much satisfied.
Okay.
So, because the results which I calculated was, say, most of the values, the intrinsic value is coming much higher. So if you can throw some light how to calculate, or if you can recommend some Indian author book on intrinsic value calculation, that may help.
Okay, so what happens over here is that intrinsic value is not a science. Okay, it's an art. So, for example, if I see that there is a factory of 40 rupees on a balance sheet, someone else may value it at 30 rupees, someone else at 35 rupees, someone else at 5 rupees. So it depends on how you value it. Intrinsic value is basically how much is the company worth. So you take today's value of all the assets, you add cash to it, and you deduct all the debt. So you know what the company is actually worth. So in the example I was talking about, we had a 20 rupees of debt, 80 rupees of equity, right? So let's assume that those 100 rupees of assets, okay, they are worth 60 rupees today. Then you add the cash 140, and then you deduct the debt. So you know that the company is worth 120 rupees. And then you see that the company is trading at 240 rupees. So then you come to know that, okay, the company is very overvalued because the intrinsic value is half of what the share price is today. But again, like I told you, it's an art, it's not a science. It depends on person to person and what valuation techniques you use.
Thanks. So my last question, definitely, Aditya and Rishika, thanks a lot. It was a very wonderful session. Lot of efforts by the people. So to further get the benefit of the session, do you
Yeah.
recommend some Indian author book to read on fundamental analysis of the stocks or like that?
Okay, one book I definitely recommend to everyone is Value Investing and Behavioral Finance by Mr. Parag Parikh.
Okay.
So that is one book which will explain you all the concepts in a very, easy to understand language.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, we have the next question from Sankar Sakinala. So he says, "Hi Rashika, present COVID scenario is U-shaped scenario or V-shaped scenario? What is your take on this? I mean, will it take time to recovery after COVID, or it will recover slowly? And which economic factors will affect the recovery?" Rashika, you want to throw some light on this?
I'll join. Hello.
Yeah.
Aditya, you start. I'll join you.
Okay. So Shankar, from what we have seen in the past, this is a very different kind of a crisis. Mainly because this is a medical crisis. It is like you all know, it's not tangible. Okay, it is something which is invisible in the air and which has no solution as of today. So when we go back to history, we have seen in 2008, 2009 that when there was the great financial crisis, it was mainly due to bad debt on banks. So that was quite easy to fix because the Federal Reserve printed more money. And that exact money flew all over the world, and the market stabilized over a period of time. But over here, what may happen, according to me, is that it is going to be a V-shaped market because there may be speculation that there is a vaccine, okay, and the market will go up like that. But then we come to know that it has side effects, so the market will come down. So it's going to be a long journey to recovery, and I mean, no one knows exactly what is going to happen. But I mean, at this point of time, it is very important to pick good stocks because there is a very big cleanup going on in the system. Okay, I mean, people are getting down, like the companies are downsizing heavily. Salary cuts are there. Companies are shutting down directly. So yeah, to answer your question in one line, is going to be a V-shaped market for a very long time. Not V, but a W, up and up down,
So
up down.
sorry to interrupt, but to add more, uh, economic factors which will affect or the time to recover after COVID, it will take a time. Usually, we don't know after 17th May is it going to open or not because the seeing the condition of the patients, in the condition, it's very difficult to say whether they are going to open the normal activities or the everything will be normal. So it will affect various industries like economic factor. If you're talking about the economic factor, pharma sector it will not affect much because they are doing their businesses because only pharma sector and the medicinals is going on.
Hi.
Sorry. So for other sector like automobile and the automobile sector and the rest of other sector in which manufacturing activities need to be done and they have to produce the product. FMCG is going good. FMCG sector is going good because the demand for the food and all this. But to tell that when it's going to over recover, it will take some time. It will, I think, it will take V shape, U shape. According to me, it will be more like U shape. Slowly, it will recover.
Yeah, hi, Shankar here.
Yeah, hi Shankar.
Yeah. It answers my question, and it is very informative session. Thank you, Rashika. And actually, I like your point. Like you mentioned, it is a W shape. Yeah, that is also good. Nice point. And Rashika, your explanation by. Sorry, I'm audible.
Yeah.
Yeah, your explanation by sector-wise, it is also quite.
Yeah, you're audible now. Shankar, please go ahead.
Yeah, that is also good. Thank you for the session.
Thank you, Shankar.
Anybody has any other question to ask?
Yeah, again Shankar here.
Yeah, Shankar.
Yeah, so after COVID-19, this scenario, is there any changes in the fundamental analysis? Like after 2008 crisis, we've seen in the so many, there are risk, people are thinking about risk, people are talking about risk, people are talking about quants after 2008 crisis. So after this COVID-19 scenario, so is there any changes in fundamental analysis? What is your take on this finally?
So Shankar, events like this we call in the financial markets as black swan event. Okay, no one has the foresight to forecast events like this. Okay, I mean there are indicators, but obviously a thing like COVID, I think no one expected at all. In such times, fundamental analysis should be focused more on, I feel, because in these times, if your business model is a bit weak and your financial prudence is a bit weak, like if you have a lot of debt on your books or your business management skills are not good by the senior level management, then surely such scenarios will kill your business. So I feel at this point of time, it's very important to pick market leaders because they are the ones who have survived a lot of cycles. Just to quote maybe a bank like Kotak Mahindra Bank, I'm not recommending it. I'm just telling you guys that this bank has survived a lot. They have survived the 1997 Asian currency crisis. They have survived demonetization. They have survived great financial crisis, the LNFS crisis, and after every crisis they came out stronger. Now, if you pick up companies like that in every sector, we'll see that. Okay, like in commercial vehicles, we see Ashok Leyland. In passenger vehicles, we see Maruti Suzuki. Okay, they have survived great financial crisis. They have survived their Manesar plant issues. So, in this way, people should not spend time to find the next market leaders. They should just bet on market leaders.
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. That answers my question.
Okay, we have a next question from Pujari Yatish. Kindly give some tips and advices for first-time investors, startups, and investment field in stock markets after this pandemic ends. So Yatish, I feel that you should not wait for the pandemic to end. In fact, the best time to enter markets is right now because a lot of good companies are available at good prices. Now it obviously depends on what your definition of value is, but yeah, this is a very good time to invest in the markets.
Hello. Anyone
Hello.
else having any other question, please? For either Aditya
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Rashika?
One question, general. So how frequently do you conduct these sessions regarding financials?
So it's going to be conducted every week right now. So Rashika is our head for FinSix, and she has guided us all that such sessions are going to be held every week,
Okay,
at least once a week.
okay, thanks.
Hello, Adi, can you hear me? Rohit here.
Yes, Rohit, please.
Yes. So I just have one question with respect to the qualitative analysis that we
Yeah,
talked about. I
yeah.
just want to understand if there's a company which is into micro cap or mini cap, like small cap company, where the history
Mhm,
of corporate governance or the management history or all
mhm,
those things which we consider to
mhm.
gauge the quality of management are not available.
Correct.
How do you approach such a company, whether to buy or not, or with the fundamental analysis?
Yeah, so Rohit, that's a nice question because you see, okay, so I'll just break down again what micro cap means for a lot of investors here. So Rohit means what about the due diligence when you're investing in a company which has a market cap of less than 100 crores or even less than 50 crores? Am I right, Rohit? Hello.
Absolutely.
Huh. Okay, so continuing with the answer, so Rohit, investing in a micro cap is quite risky, as you know it. But over here, what we need to do is we have to make sure we have to make extra sure that the company you're investing in does not do a lot of window dressing, like Rashika had told us in the presentation. Okay, and I think one thing which may come in handy over here is that you may have easy access to the management or to the factories. Then you can talk to the various stakeholders, be it suppliers or buyers or just factory workers. I think they would be able to give you better perspective on how the company works. I mean, this is in addition to your own research. Like you study all the financials, you study the MCA reports on the corporate governance, you study BSc filings, and then you come down to this, the last step, which is talking to the management or the various stakeholders of the company.
Right. So I just to get this thing, there will always be some inherent risk with respect to investing in micro caps, right? Yes.
Definitely, Rohit.
Yes.
See, Rohit,
Okay.
the thing is, the moment you have bought a share, you have taken some risk. Okay. So there is a very famous quote by Vijay Kedia sir. Okay, he's one of the famous who says that if you study, even if you study 24 hours a day, you have to place some of your investing gains on luck, because it is only luck which will deliver you the returns. Because a lot of factors have to come together for the company to deliver extraordinary returns to themselves and to the shareholders.
Understood. Yes. Thank you so much, Adi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
session, by the way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hi again.
Hi,
My
Shankar,
question
yeah.
is to Rashika. My question is to Rashika now. Yeah, hi Rashika. So I have one question. There are two companies. One company is 20 years old, another company is 5 years old. The 20 years company has a good company is posting good results, financial results, and the second company is 5 years old. But the 5 years old company has a good future planning, good wisdom, and everything is good. So their planning is good. They're adapting to more technology and everything. But the 20 years company is not like that. So out of these two, which I have to choose if I want to buy shares?
See, it depends upon today's economy is more economic, technology driven. So, for example, earlier you were buying that box wala TV. Now everyone is moving to the LED TV. So though the box wala TV was doing very good, you are able to see everything, but technology is the need of the today's generation. So I prefer you have to first of all check the new industry, the 5-year-old the 5-year-old company which you are investing. How is it doing? What business they are doing? Because you cannot just randomly invest in some other company, so they are not related. You have to check first of all in what business they are doing and what technology driven they are and how they are helping the economy. You can check the future prospect of both the companies where it will be more profitable to invest. You have to do some of the homework and the research. Then you can invest. I cannot just give you some random answer that though the company is doing good in 5 years, but I don't know in what sector on what field they are investing their money and how the technology is gonna help in nearby future. So you have to check both the companies, the 20-year-old company and the 5-year-old company, and you have to see both performance of both the company. And you have to also check the 20 years old company, what they are doing to adapt the changes in technology. So you have to do the research and then you have to invest.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That answers my question.
Any other questions anybody would like to ask? We are coming to the end of the session now. So if you have any questions, you can please ask. So I don't think anyone has any questions. If you have any suggestions related to the sessions that we should take or anything else, we already have a WhatsApp group by the name of Financial Sessions by FinSix. I think most of you might be a part of that group. If you all are not, please let us know. We will send you the link. You all can join in, give your suggestions about the kind of sessions we should conduct and the kind of courses. We are coming up with a few certificate courses that can help you in understanding, investing, and in all these things, obviously with the help of Rashika and Aditya. So we will keep you informed about it. I would like to thank Rashika for spending time. Aditya, thank you very much for being a part of the session. Thank you to both of you. Thank you to all of you for joining this session. If there are no further questions, we would like to end the session.
Thank you guys for joining. Good day.
Thank you guys.
Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone.